Because girls, that's what we all do. When we want to a pop star, we make our own salad dressing. That's just makes all over hard, I guess. Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Middle-Aged Millennial MILF Podcast, MAM podcast, if you will, as I like to talk about. And we're here today, guys, to talk about movies. Just me and you talking about movies, my favorites, ones that made an impact on my life. Hopefully some of them made an impact on your life. And this isn't just me talking about irrelevant shit that nobody cares about. But let's get started, guys. All right. My first memory with movies is twofold. I remember watching Heartburn with Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson. And if you're familiar with this movie, like, it's not a happy movie. Like, it's about these yuppies. It was the 80s. So yuppies. And basically how Jack Nicholson is just going to fuck anything that walks. Like, it's Jack Nicholson. You cannot expect Jack Nicholson to be monogamous. I mean, maybe he has been in the past, but I mean, I just think that Jack Nicholson's a pussy hound and you know what you're getting into. But anyway, so it's about him like cheating on his wife. Sorry, spoilers. He's cheating on his wife and she like is having kids and like, it's a whole thing. It's like I said, it's not a romantic movie. I was 3 or 4 when we were watching this because my mom treated me like her best friend. So if she wanted to watch something, I was watching it. Didn't matter how old I was. But the fucked up thing is, as we're watching this at 4 years old, she's telling me, Sarah, this is how every man is. Just so you know, someday your husband is probably going to cheat on you and you'll be a single mom. Yes. So at 4 years old, I was set up to be a single mom. And I remember we had like a yearbook field trip and we were at lunch and I was telling people that, and the yearbook teacher was actually a single mom. And she's like, that's not like something you plan on. I'm like, well, mom just prepared me. I don't know. All men suck. So that was like my mom and I's movie. Like, once again, not a great movie to be bonding over, but that was our movie. And then fucking Olivia Wilde had to come out and talk about, like, put a fucking recipe from the movie on her Instagram. And apparently, like, that's her mating ritual, is to make a salad dressing from this book/movie. And she was like bringing it to Harry Styles when she was fucking him. Because girls, that's what we all do. When we want to fuck a pop star, we make our own salad dressing. That's just makes dicks all over hard, I guess. And poor Jason Sudeikis like laid behind her car so she couldn't go. Like, I did not like Jason Sudeikis, but you cannot hear that and not feel awful. Can you imagine being that person and loving someone, having kids with them, and they're like, hey, yep, I'm going to go get some British dick over here. The salad dressing really, like, that's sad. And fuck you, Olivia Wilde. I'm glad Harry Styles dumped you. Sorry, that's my rant about Olivia Wilde. I'm not a fan. So that was Heartburn. So that was my mom and I's movie, like the Carly Simon song from it coming around again. Like, great. I still love this movie to that day. But I do watch it and I'm like, Mom, come on. But Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I apparently love Pee-wee. I still do. I loved Pee-wee. I would watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure nonstop. I apparently had a lot of strep throat and ear problems. So my dad would go rent Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and they would pull this big chair up in front of the TV. And that was kind of my thing. So I still love Pee-wee. We will talk about this more down the line, but I think I'd be remiss to not say that I was a big Pee-wee fan from the jump. And I guess I also really liked Elvis and Me, you know, the Priscilla Presley story. Not the movie now with Jacob Elordi, whatever the fuck his name is, but like back in the day, Elvis and Me, which I feel like started at a very young age, my obsession with women married to famous men. But that's neither here nor there. So on the topic of inappropriate movies, so mom set the bar right away. Heartburn, inappropriate. Then I also remember like my parents taking us to the drive-in and we were seeing Pretty Woman. And I understood enough, I feel like, but I think that in the 90s, every parent banked on things going over our heads. And watching that movie as an adult, she's a hooker. Julia Roberts is a hooker. And she's like watching things and then she's like giving him a blowjob. Like, seriously, she's watching and she's like, oh, ha, ha. And then she's like, let me blow you, but I don't kiss. Like, it's supposed to be romantic. I don't know. But I just don't think that little kids should have been watching Pretty Woman being like, this is so romantic. I hope someday that I have had no more life choices and I have to sell my body. But wait, someday some famous man, some rich man is going to save me from having to pimp out my pussy. Goals, guys. So like we were doing some weird shit in the 80s and 90s. And also I remember my mom watching Thelma and Louise. And there's like this rape scene. And I remember it made me very uncomfortable. And I was like screaming for my mom to turn it off. And she was like, it's almost done. It's almost done. Like, I didn't need to see that, but that's okay. Because we watched a lot of movies at home because the nearest theater to Sandwich was Yorkville, which was like 30 minutes away. And you guys know, like I've had my things with my parents, but something that I've always appreciated and continue to appreciate is them sharing comedy with me and them sharing movies with me and books and music and just anything really pop culture. And that was something that the four of us kind of bonded over. And that was what really kept us strong as a family. And I definitely credit my sense of humor to my parents exposing me to that stuff from an early age. I love them for it. But we had something Drew calls the Peterson family classics. And he mocks it because it's not like classics like Shawshank Redemption or Dances with Wolves, great movies. No, it's ones like Death Becomes Her, which I have watched recently. And movies in the 90s were different. Like the pacing seemed different. Like watching them now, it doesn't, but it's still amazing. And if you think about the visual effects for Death Becomes Her, like amazing. Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, Bruce Willis, bless his heart, poor guy. I mean, come on, when she has that big hole in her and her head's turned around, like very impressive. I wish that we still had movies like that. And my dad loved Jennifer Aniston rom-coms. I think he had the hots for Jennifer Aniston because I remember we loved Picture Perfect. And whenever he would talk about it, he would be like, Drew, Picture Perfect, great movie. And now knowing that like she was a complete bitch to poor Jay Moore, who in his own can be problematic, but it would suck to have your romantic co-star make it very obvious she thought she was way better than you. And that sucks. But her clothing in that is fire. That's where you learn to dress for the job you want. And girl, she did. And then Object of My Affection, which was like a birthday movie choice for me too, because we always got to pick a movie to go to the theater because it's so far away, which is where she like gets knocked up by her boyfriend, but Paul Rudd is her gay roommate. And then she like starts to fall for him. And as a kid, I remember being a little confused and being like, well, he should be with her. And now as a grown woman with many, many gay male friends who, no matter how attractive or fun I am, they don't want to fuck me because I have a vagina. It is like, Jennifer, you really like poor Paul Rudd. Like he was up front. He was gay the whole time. And you're like, raise my baby. Love you. Like I love Gavin. I love Josh. Love them unconditionally. But it's not like that kind of love. Like a game. Anyway, Jennifer, Object of My Affection. Problematic. We also loved Pauly Shore movies. I think we watched Encino Man. That wasn't a Peterson family classic. Son-in-Law was a Peterson family classic. And I have watched that recently and it holds up. And I really think that my parents thought I was like going to go off to college and be like that and be all crazy. Little did they know they're going to like make me drive to college 30 minutes away. And I had a curfew. So that was not a self-fulfilling prophecy. But Pauly Shore was great in that. And Jury Duty with Pauly Shore. Like these are not good movies, but they were entertaining. I could have watched them a million times over. And like I said, I've tried to watch some of these as an adult and I'm like, okay, in the Army now, I found Pauly Shore very attractive. So to reiterate, the Petersons were big Pauly Shore fans. Fast forward to college and we went to ASU and right next to ASU was a Tempe Improv. So a lot of comedians would come and we'd go and Pauly Shore was coming and I was super, super excited. And he was like doing a signing after and I was with my friend Jackie and he's like, oh, bring condoms, sign him. And we had condoms because we were college girls and thought we were cool. So we waited in line and he was like talking to someone next to him and he just signed it and didn't even look at us. He was just like, here you go. And I think, well, I know I called him a dick, but I don't remember the connotations of it. And I was just really like put off. And then I started to feel sorry for him again. But recently we were at the Desert Ridge Improv and we were just shooting shit with the waiter. And we're like, who was the worst comedian? Who was the worst? And he said Damon Wayans Jr. was there and it was totally just a cash grab. But he said Pauly Shore. And I said, that's really weird considering his mom owned a comedy club. You would think that he would conduct himself. And he goes, oh, you can tell that life did not go the way he thought it would. And he is very unhappy and bitter. So, Pauly, everyone thinks you're an asshole. And I think it's because you're an asshole. That's why Richard Simmons doesn't want you to do his movie because he was not an asshole. So maybe get your shit together. Quit being a prick. Quit being upset that you weren't whatever you thought you were going to be. And just be the fucking weasel. Just fucking be the Pauly Shore that we loved. Like, not okay. Another Peterson family classic, She-Devil. Clearly my parents and I loved Meryl Streep. Like, how do you not love Meryl Streep? And that also had Roseanne. We loved Roseanne because we were from Illinois and we were paycheck to paycheck family. So Roseanne was like the closest to our family, I guess you would say on TV. Like and I'm not saying we were like poor. I'm not like pleading poverty. Like we were paycheck to paycheck. I never went without. I'm not saying this like angry at my parents. Like I'm grateful to them. But that's why we related to Roseanne is because we were like that. Now and Then does not get enough credit for how amazing it was. And if you think about the cast of them, the adults, and then the kids and who they had, and it was just amazing. And I don't like reboots and I don't like remakes necessarily, but how cool would that be to do it in the context of our childhood, which at the time, I think like we were watching this in the 90s and we're like, oh, it looks so, look at how innocent it was in the the 60s. But unfortunately now with how terrible things are, if you were to go back to the 90s and us being 90s kids, this would work. So maybe somebody needs to think about this and do something. I don't think this is something that I need to pick up the mantle. Superstar, Molly Shannon. I love Molly Shannon. I love Superstar. Is that a good movie? No. Did I think it was a good movie like the first time I saw it? No. I knew exactly what it was. But I also had a thing for Tom Green, who was in the movie, and it's just fun and enjoyable. Like, that's my sense of humor. I also rewatched recently Camp Nowhere. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but it was like, well, they were all going to get sent to summer camps that they didn't want to. So they're like, oh, let's hire this guy that was a theater teacher and works at a kiosk in the mall to watch over us. And we're just off, children, on our own in this busted ass camp. And then, oh shit, our parents are coming and we need to pretend. Like, there were some premises back then that were just bonkers. But I enjoyed every minute of it. But as a mother, as a kid watching Camp Nowhere, I was like, this is fucking amazing. As a mother watching Camp Nowhere now, I was like panicking. I was like, can you imagine? What if something happens and they're like, your kid was just off doing whatever the fuck they wanted and you didn't even know? And I'd have to be like, I just trusted them. I read their letters and their voicemails. So horrifying, but I love it. Also, a Peterson family classic was Carpool. Carpool, once again, not a good movie. And I'm not even necessarily saying like you should go watch these. I'm hoping that other people had similar childhoods where they watched these trash movies and they could be like, Carpool. Like it had Tom Arnold. I don't even remember who the lead guy was. Like they got like carjacked in their minivan. Like it wasn't good. It had Tig in it from Sons of Anarchy playing a cop, which was just weird. House Arrest was another one. Like there were all these weird 90s movies where like kids are like, I'm going to get one over on my parents. And like, I can't even imagine if Drew and I were like, hey guys, we're going to get divorced. And our kids like fucking, we don't have a basement, but if they like locked us somehow in our garage or something and was like, we're not letting you out until you figure this out. And we also brought our friends' parents who were having trouble. I would be like, Jesus, so fucking embarrassed, Walker. I can't even believe you're doing this to me. This one holds up. This one holds up, folks. Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. I love this movie for so many different reasons. Like, first off, watching that as a kid, is that not an amazing fantasy? Like, not the babysitter died, and that sucks. But she's like 17. And also, why did that mom have so many kids? Like, that mom had a lot of kids for them not being religious. And then she also was leaving 5 of them to go to Australia. Yeah, anyway, like I said, we can't go too far dissecting these because it's not. But I love fashion. So when she was like, yeah, I'm going to go work for this fashion, I'm putting her little outfits together. And I also, here's the deal. For being smart, I got good grades. Sometimes I'm really fucking stupid. And I remember, like, she has that fashion show at the end of her house. And I love montages, like the cleaning montage in the house. Like, I love a good montage. Thank you, Team America. Love a good montage. But, like, she has that fashion show at the end. And I thought, because they were talking about how kids were upset about wearing, what's it called? Uniforms. So they were showing these uniforms. So I legit thought those were showing things for school. So I thought all these kids were going to dress up like a goalie. It was like at a hotel or a chef or something. Like, I didn't have the understanding that these were showing options for these other uniforms. Like, for an actual chef would wear something fun like this. So dumb me was like, cool, what school do you go to where you get to dress like that? And then also from that one, you get the quote, I'm right on top of that, Rose. Fast forward to me working at Alexandra Blue, and I'm looking through their keychains, and there's a keychain that says, I'm right on top of that, Rose. And I turned to Heather and I was like, this is really niche. And sure enough, no one ever bought it. So whoever, like, Alex didn't make those keychains. We just bought them. Be careful, niche 90s. Like, I'm right on top of that, Rose. I think I was the only fucking person that ever walked in that store that knew that one. Ladybugs. I had the biggest crush on Jonathan Brennan. I think he's dead. Isn't it sad how many of our heartthrobs in the 90s, like, are dead? Like, Brad Renfro died. Jonathan Brandis died from Ladybugs. There's been some others, and it's just super sad. Like, clearly they weren't giving them the resources that they needed. But Ladybugs, I mean, who didn't love a good cross-dressing movie in the 90s? And Rodney Dangerfield, I mean, you can do no wrong. Heavyweights. My brother and I loved Heavyweights, which is really funny to watch that. And you kind of see Ben Stiller starting that character from Dodgeball. Like, that was kind of the start of it with Heavyweights. And we did, the 90s, we just loved to make fun of fat people, people with disabilities, like, cool. Sandlot. We all still quote Sandlot. How can you not love Sandlot? Drop Dead Gorgeous. This is underrated. I know it has a cult following, but I laugh my ass off that whole movie every time I watch it. Every performance is flawless. Kirsten Dunst, amazing, hilarious. Like, her, like, just the whole cast, we would laugh. Like, her mom being a drunk in a trailer park, and Kirstie Alley, like, I'll move if a cripple comes. Like, that's, every time I think about parking in a handicap spot, I think of that. And rest in peace, Brittany Murphy was amazing in it. Like, Drop Dead Gorgeous is one of the funniest movies of all time. And I think it's underrated, and that kind of makes me mad. We also loved Major Payne. Like I said, we just had some really weird movies in the 90s, like with adults that shouldn't be taking care of kids. And I feel like, here's another one, Look Who's Talking. I feel like Look Who's Talking was the best sex talk any of us ever got. Because, I mean, it was accurate. It showed you from the beginning they're, like, going to do it, and then you see the sperm and how a baby is made. So I felt like that was a learning film as well, not just entertainment. And I do love John Travolta so much. Up Close and Personal was this weird movie that I just loved. And it was Michelle Pfeiffer and Robert Redford. And she wanted to be a journalist. And, like, he took her under his wing. And it was like, and that Because You Love Me song from Celine Dion was in it. And I love that song. And that was like my guilty pleasure. And, like, he gave her a makeover. I'm telling you, anything where somebody gets a makeover or there's a montage, like, count me in. I love it. That's right. I have to have notes. I'm old. Serial Mom, which was also quite risque. Like, that, there was some dirty stuff in there. Like, she was, like, flashing her cooter to, like, not get arrested. Like I said, and I feel like in the 90s, we were shown these inappropriate things. But all of our parents were just like, well, whatever they don't know will go over their heads. Not like it would stick with us and we would obsess about it for the next 20 years figuring it out, even though it did go over our heads. Because I know that I still think about those things. I also love, and this movie holds up, Airheads. Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler when he was hot, fucking breaking into a radio station to play the song. And the song was actually not bad from that. So Brendan Fraser is just a gift to all of us. And he's so hot. And he was just treated like shit. And I don't appreciate that. I also love Beverly Hillbillies. Full disclosure, guys. I used to get the weirdest crushes. Like, I had a crush on Adam Sandler. I had a crush on David Spade. I had a crush on Rob Schneider. None of these I'm proud of. I just really think I've always been attracted to funny guys. But yeah, Rob Schneider crush, that's really embarrassing. And I remember thinking he was cute in Home Alone 2 when he was like the bellhop. And now he's in Arizona and he's super right wing. So if I ever meet him, I guess I will be like, oh, hi, Rob Schneider. It's so nice to meet you. I had a big crush on you when I was a little girl. I deeply regret that decision now. Have fun being right wing, you motherfucker. And he was like driving through Agritopia for a movie. Like, can you imagine if I was just walking Agritopia and I was like, that's fucking Rob Schneider? Like, how fucking random would that be? But also that would happen in my life. So moving on to not a crush, Fried Green Tomatoes. I rewatched this when I was depressed the other day, and that movie's amazing. But also I feel like we thought there were more details in movies. There wasn't that many details in it. But I love the part where she rams into the car after they're like, we're younger and hotter. And she hits it and she goes, I'm older and I have more insurance. Because every day when I'm driving, I feel like I'm a yin and yang of both. Because there's all these old fucks and I'm like, yep, I'm younger and faster than you. But I'm also older and have more insurance. So it's a really nice place to be right now where I'm like, yeah, I'm 40. I have the best rate I'm going to get. Little Pop-Tart, like don't fuck with me, little bitch. A Night at the Roxbury, great movie. Talked about it on another podcast about someone singing to me and not enjoying it. And that was my first introduction to Richard Grieco. And I was like, oh, Richard Grieco. And then he was in this, my mom loved Lifetime movies. We're not even talking about the Lifetime movies. Oh, but maybe we should. We'll see how much time we have, folks. But he was in this Lifetime movie with Yasmin Bleeth, remember from Baywatch? And it was he was a con man. Anyway, once again, flash forward to it's 2003. And Josh, guest number 2, was like, yeah, I'm working at the bank. And this guy's financing a movie and Richard Grieco's here. And all of us were like, yeah, right, Josh, Richard Grieco's here. And we're in a Blockbuster. It's on McDowell and Power, which if you're from Arizona, that's just like Mesa. And my mom would buy tabloids and there was a picture what happened to Richard Grieco? And there's a picture of him that was current. And I look up at a different aisle and I'm like, that's fucking Richard Grieco. It was Richard Grieco. And I was like, Jackie, that's Richard Grieco. And she's like, ha ha, funny. Yeah, we're mocking Josh. I'm like, no, I'm being serious right now. I think he was telling the truth. So I'm like, let's go over. And chat, people always try to talk, fuck you to people trying to talk me out of it. Yes, I might be bothering them, but then I'm bothering them. Then I'm the asshole. You aren't. People have kept me from meeting famous people, and I'm pretty fucking pissed. So this time I was like, no, we're doing it. So I'm like, come on, Jackie. So I go over and I'm like, I'd tapped him on the shoulder. I'm like, are you Richard Grieco? And he had sunglasses on. He's like, he took them off and he's like, I'm Richard Grieco. And I'm like, that's what I told my friend. And then that was it. But he looks even worse now, Richard. I don't know what's going on. I pray for you. But Lifetime movies, they used to be so good. And then they remake them and they're not as good. No One Would Tell, they release, which that to me is the greatest Lifetime movie of all time. Candace Cameron, who I can't fucking stand. And Fred Savage, who's also a piece of shit. So it's two pieces of shit. He's an abusive boyfriend. No, and the song and yeah, he killed her. And good for you, Fred Savage. I would kill Candace Cameron too. Fuck her and her brother. But it was just really good. And then they remake them and it's not as good. They remade Mom, Can I Sleep with Danger with Tori Spelling. Just come up, go with new ones. But they're Jenny Garth. I love a good Lifetime movie. Anyway, guys, sorry. And First Wives Club, that was a huge Peterson family classic. Bette Midler, Diane Keaton, Goldie Hawn. And then if you look at it too, like the young ones that they're with is Sarah Jessica Parker and Marcia Gay Harden and Elizabeth Berkley are like the young chicks, which now they'd be the old chicks. And like the First Wives would be the grandmas. And it also didn't age well with all the fat jokes that Sarah Jessica Parker makes at Bette Midler's expense. But I think my favorite part is at the end when they have Ivanka Trump there. And it's like, oh, she's the ultimate first wives. And they're like, oh, Ivanka. Or is it Ivana? Ivanka's the daughter, right? That he wants to fuck. Anyway, I don't know or care. If Ivana Trump, whatever one he was married to. And she's like, just remember, girls, don't get mad. Get everything. So I think we're all fucking forgetting, and I'm not trying to get political, but I miss the time when Donald Trump was a piece of shit husband that cheated on Ivana and she took all his money. Like, that's the timeline I wish we were still on and not this one. So maybe we all need to go back to First Wives Club and be like, yeah, remember he's a piece of shit that left his wife for Marla Maples. Now he's on like wife number 3, who I think is an android and doesn't even like him. And then I had a little brother. So I watched movies like Three Ninjas and Surf Ninjas and Good Burger. We loved Good Burger. And then I thought the guy was so cute that was like the bad guy in it. And he died recently. That always makes me so sad. But also the shitty thing about having a little brother was he would get fucking scared in movies. So we were in the theater for Jurassic Park. And when the guy, spoiler, a guy got eaten off the toilet by a T-Rex, my brother freaked the fuck out. And instead of my dad just like taking him out in the lobby and talking him down, we all had to leave. We were done. The same fucking thing happened in Batman 2 when the penguin bit somebody's nose. Like, I don't even remember why he bit the nose now. He didn't bite it off. Like, it's Danny DeVito, Kyle. So that was also kind of a thing for us where my brother would get scared because I was the more brave one and then I got screwed out of stuff. Another thing I super appreciate from my parents is, although we were paycheck to paycheck, we always had cable. And not just cable. We had like HBO. Like, my parents sprung for the entertainment. And I had insomnia from a young age that they gave no shit about fixing or figuring out why I had insomnia as a kid. So I saw a lot of like 2 a.m. inappropriate movies on HBO. But I also felt like it gave me an edge. And like I was like more mature than other kids. Like, I saw Bully, which is a true story. And it was directed by the guy that did Kids. So basically, it's just exploitative of teen girls and like unnecessary nudity. And like, I don't need a close up on Bijou Phillips' crotch constantly. She's married to Danny Masterson, or was. Like, she's problematic. He's problematic. But Bully is an excellent movie, and I cannot recommend it enough. But it is rough and it is graphic. And I was probably too young for that. But I also like found some great movies. Like Girl is great. Dominique Swain. I actually reached out to her for this because I was like, what is she doing? She was like an it girl. And you could send a message on Cameo. So I was like, fuck it. But you could only have like 105 characters or something. So I was like, 105 characters? Like what? But she thought I meant that's how much the message cost. So the whole message I got back was about how I was wrong about the amount. And then I was just like, I'm done. I don't care about you anymore. Like, sorry. And do you guys remember making out at the movies? Like, I remember once I was like 16 and like had a boyfriend, like we would just go make out at the movies. Bedazzled. What was that one with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley where she played the devil? I made out through that. I made out through Meet the Parents. And then that led to my pretentious college years where by Scottsdale Mall, we had this like indie theater. It was Camel View 5. And that's where all the independent films came first. So in college, we all thought we were hot shit. And we would go see movies at Camel View 5, like Swimming Pool, which was awful. And I don't remember any of it, but seeing some old lady's bush in it. We went and saw Young Adam because you saw Ewan McGregor's dick in it. for like 30 seconds. And then it was a bunch of like him having barge sex with like a barge lady. Like it was not good. We also saw Napoleon Dynamite there for the first time. So we felt pretty fucking cool. We also saw Latter Days because we had like Josh and Gavin, we're all like gay. So we're like, yeah, let's go watch this movie where this gay guy like seduces a Mormon missionary and then they're gay together. Like they fucking loved it. Like, especially being from Arizona, that was like, hell yeah. So I had the crush on Adam Sandler, David Spade, Rob Schneider, all embarrassing. Jimmy Fallon, though. Once he was on SNL, I loved Jimmy Fallon. And then when he was in movies, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like he was in Almost Famous and like Sploosh, like just for a little part. I remember Taxi opening night, Megan and some friends and I went and saw it. And there were only 2 other people in the theater. And it was not a good movie. And I was like, oh, poor Jimmy. Fever Pitch was pretty good. Him and Drew Barrymore, Fever Pitch was really good. The embarrassing thing about that is I saw that with my first ex-husband. And then I got to meet Jimmy Fallon. Okay, let's tell this story. So Tempe Improv, we already talked about that. I go see shows. I got a message and it was like special guest star Jimmy Fallon was with Owen something. I don't remember his last name now. It didn't matter. So I was like, yeah, get tickets. So only a few of us knew. And we were kind of in the back and we were like at a little table and there's this couple next to us. And she's like, did you hear Jimmy Fallon's here? I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited. And love my mom for this, Rose. I love that you gave me no fear. And you're like, if you want to meet somebody, you fucking go up and meet him. So I'm going to meet him. I go, here's my plan to this new friend because I just make a friend everywhere I go. I was like, all right, here's the deal. When he gets off stage, we're going to follow him and we're going to corner him. And that's what we did. And I got to meet him. But I was like panicking because I was like, this is the ultimate dream. And I was like, I'm such a big fan. I started like, I was like, I saw Fever Pitch with my husband. Like it was I can't believe I wasted talking about him on, the idiot. And then I was like, can I just touch your arm? Like, it was so weird. And he signed stuff, like it's in my office. And he was so sweet. Like Jimmy Fallon was genuinely nice and kind to me. But he also got married. And then once a movie star gets married, I don't have a crush on them anymore. Like, I don't think taking someone else's man is fun or cool or anything. I'm like, you're taken, you're somebody else's. So the Jimmy Fallon fan. And he's also like so popular now. Like I liked him when he wasn't so popular. So I've talked about all my 90s shitty movies. The other aspect of me is I do love horror movies. I'm not that girl that's like, they give me nightmares. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't mock people. But also that's not how nightmares work. I don't think. It's not like you watch a movie and then like, do you watch a comedy and then your dreams are comical? No, like that's dumb. But I remember my mom showing us inappropriate movies. We saw Halloween. My brother was probably 6, so I guess I was 10. But we lived in Sandwich, Illinois. And if you've watched Halloween, Haddonfield looks crazy like Sandwich, Illinois. So I checked under my bed way too long. I've seen, like, Michael Myers is my ultimate, like, monster. Like, he's my favorite. And then the second Jason movie, where he's wearing a burlap sack on his head. Like, it's the first one with Jason. And there's like a hole and it's just not good. And I couldn't be scared of the burlap sack. I also remember when Scream came out. Scream was a big deal. And I got to see it at my babysitter's house. And I had another huge crush, Jamie Kennedy. Then the second one came out. And my friend Kelly and I saw it in theaters. And spoiler alert for Scream 2, Jamie Kennedy dies in it. And I remember standing up in the theater and screaming no. Very embarrassing for me. And okay, here's the deal. So Scream 3 was sucky and weird. I enjoyed Scream 4. It was cute. Emma Roberts, like, I enjoyed Scream 4. And I think even 5 was fine. That's the one where so here, okay, it's going to be a real hot take. I don't like Jenna Ortega. I think that it's just her being this fucking, like, too cool for school teen and everything. Like, I think she's very one note. I don't enjoy her. And then in the Scream that she was in, the first one, she was supposed to be the first kill. And I was like, yep, this is what we do. Fuck, please kill Jenna Ortega. And then she doesn't fucking die. So her sister, whose dad was Billy Loomis, like, wouldn't everyone have noticed that this chick was pregnant at the school? Like, and then the bad skeet, like, flashbacks where you can tell that they're trying to de-age him and it's not working. I love Huey from The Boys. Jack Quaid, I think you're adorable. You, and then the chick that won the Oscar for Honora, like, wasn't good. And then we had all these new characters and then it got even worse. Like, the one in New York was god awful. I don't even think they had Sydney in that one, to be honest. And it was just really weird. And like, I can't even go into how shitty it was. And then when I heard that they were doing another one without Nev Campbell, I was just like, you can fucking have it, Gen Z. Just steal my Scream. I don't care. But then magically, what happened? Oh, they dropped the young ones and they were like, oh, you know what everyone wants? The fucking classics. So who did they bring back? Nev Campbell. They better paid you out the fucking ass, honey. They fucking reject. They wanted their Jenna Ortega. They wanted their hot shit. Who came through? You did, Nev. I hope you charge the shit out of them. And then they're bringing back Matthew Lillard and all the classics. Yeah. You realize it's the old people that want to fucking see this. Scream. Let's see how this one is. I'm giving you another chance. I sat through New York. Core 4. And you know who died in the Core 4? Not one fucking person. I understand nobody wants to kill off Jenna Ortega. She's hot shit right now. Kill her. Maybe that, like, fucking kill her. Sorry. I sound very angry at Jenna Ortega, but I'm not a fan of her or Sydney Sweeney. I'm sorry. I just am not. Let's move on. Oh, another HBO movie that I saw late night was Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. And I do love, like, an old, like, flashback. It was, like, back in the day. And it was so, like, weird, and I don't know why. Then after that, I had this affection for Rob Zombie, which I still don't understand to this day. I think collectively, all the good parts of all his movies are probably total to 2 movies, and I've sat through way more than that. I love Sherry Moon, and she was great for House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Reject, that part, but he puts her in everything, and she doesn't need to be in everything. Like Lords of Salem was boring as fuck. If Halloween wasn't a remake, if that was just his original story, I would have enjoyed Halloween. The second one was fucking awful. And like, we've kind of fallen off. So Rob Zombie, I would love for you to make a really great horror movie that I was like, he's still got it. He's back. I'm still waiting. So Rob, please quit making a fool of me. Other horror movies that I rewatched these like last month was the Final Destination movies. They're cheesy. They're stupid. They are so much fun. And my God, like just the opening scenes and how every movie they kind of had to re-up it was just really cool. And I think all of us millennials are traumatized. Like, we will not drive behind a lumber truck at all. Like those big trees, like we're all like, nope. And even sometimes when I got on a plane, I'm like, oh, is this it? So, and there's a new Final Destination coming out called like Bloodlines, like that one. It looks amazing. So after I finished rewatching it, I was like, why aren't they doing more Final Destinations? These were great. Well, they are. So thank you. I can't wait to see that one. And actually, horror movies are what Drew and I bonded over. So our first date in the 9th grade was a blind date. And we saw Sixth Sense, and he didn't like me because I talked the whole movie. He still reminds me he didn't like me because I talked the whole movie. He hasn't changed his opinion on that in the 25 years since. When we were 18, after high school, we started dating again, and our first movie was 28 Days Later. And we saw that in theaters like 3 times. 28 Days Later is one of the greatest zombie movies of all time. Like, it was great. You saw his dick right away, and I remember somebody's like, oh, and then Drew thought that was funny. So the next time we saw it, he said that when his dick showed. Then when we were 24 and we got back together for the final time, our first movie date again was Strangers, which was with the Liv Tyler, where they're in the cabin and the masks and stuff. And Drew is a huge Evil Dead fan. So we had an Evil Dead onesie made for Walker when he was coming home from the hospital. And actually, when I was in labor, like before we went to the hospital, we watched Evil Dead for the first time, which it was fine. But we still had that Evil Dead onesie, and Beckett wore it too. So I'm kind of hoping maybe we have grandkids sometime and they wear it too, if it's like a little family heirloom. So I have these opinions, and I want to get your guys' opinion. Well, I guess Drew and I have these opinions. I feel like Jack Black is this generation's Robin Williams, where he can do serious. He's kind of everybody's dad. He's like doing the Goosebumps. He's unproblematic. So very Jack Black, Robin Williams, I think, is because we need that goodness in this world. I think Leo DiCaprio is like Jack Nicholson, where he'll never settle down. Like he's just a pussy hound. Like he dates young chicks. Like he gets, like it's okay, Leo. Like you're an A-list movie star. You are absolutely A-list movie star. And then I don't have any others, but I'd love to hear your opinions on newer stars that are kind of taking up the mantle of Glenn Powell. Would he be a non-problematic Brad Pitt? Okay, kids, let's finish this off. I don't want to take too much of your time just chatting about my movies, but I do want to give you my favorites. Let's end this on a high note with my favorites. Number 1, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It holds up. It's fun. It moves fast. And I could just watch that and be so happy. Second, So I Married an Axe Murderer. I love Mike Myers. Not like where I had maybe back then I had a crush. Now I want him to be my dad. But I love Mike Myers. I have memorized that movie. I could sing his Woman, Woman, Woman poem if I had to. It's fun. It's great. I love Mike Myers. He may have had a ego back in the day, but come on, that Austin Powers, the first one, is fucking hilarious. Like Mike Myers to me can do no wrong. He is the ultimate I would love to meet. Although this is really on brand for me. Mannequin 2, the second one, Mannequin on the Move. I love, and it's cheesy and it's awful. Cheesy and awful. But if I don't feel good, I want to watch that. This just also shows it's a very Sarah thing. I didn't realize until 3 months ago that Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. I thought that was just at the end of Mannequin 2. And I loved that song. And every time the song came on, I thought of Mannequin 2. In fact, so much that I was at work one day and I was playing that and I was thinking about it. And this lady goes, Mannequin 2. And I was like, I went and hugged her. And I was like, yes, right? Like this always makes me think of that too. Like it made me feel really heard and seen. And I really appreciated it. But I saw something and it was in the original too. And I was like, and Kim Cattrall was in the original. So of course my mom picked fucking Christy Swenson, fucking right-winger bitch now, but still, Mannequin 2 on the Move, love it. Love and Sex, not a real well-known one. Famke Janssen and Jon Favreau are in it. This was when he was still acting and stuff more than he directs and stuff. It's basically about their relationship, and she works at a newspaper and she's writing about relationships and how many guys she's loved. And it's my favorite rom-com because it's not cheesy. I loved it. And the funny thing is, if I ever meet Jon Favreau, of course, I'm going to have to say, oh my God, I love Love and Sex. And I'm really hoping that sets me apart because I hope other people are like, oh, Iron Man. Oh, you wrote speeches for Obama. And I want to be like, remember that 90s rom-com you made with Famke? That's it for me. Where you played Adam, the artist. Love it. Sleepover. Josh and I saw this in theaters together. And it's not good. It's about teen girls having a sleepover, and then they're going to do this scavenger hunt for a table in high school. And it's cheesy, but Josh and I just saw it and it was so innocent. And actually it had a pretty good cast. It had Jane Lynch in it and Steve Carell. I mean, it wasn't bad, and it's wholesome and it's fun. And Yancey, if you know, you know. But Sleepover is one of those I can watch anytime. Here's okay. We're going to talk about this one a little bit, guys. Let's get real about this. Mindhunters. I remember the first time I saw it, I lived in my apartment with my first husband. We also paid for Showtime and HBO because I was miserable and that was the only thing that would make me happy. And Mindhunters came on and it had Catherine from Cold Case in it. And they play like FBI profilers, I guess, or they're trying to be profilers. And then they have to go like take their final test on this like island that they do military testing for. And there's like really a killer on, like, and it's the cheesiest and the best. Like Johnny Lee Miller is in it. And and there's a part where he's like, we're going to go out to these boats. And he's like, now is not the time for fear, people. Now is the time. And then the whole thing blows up. Then he's like, don't worry, I got her. And then there's this guy, Clifton Collins Jr., and he's like in a wheelchair. But his big thing is he never goes anywhere without his gun. So he like says this like multiple, he's like, I never go anywhere without my gun. And then like he pulls out his gun at one point and this guy's like, did he just pull that gun out of his ass? Like LL Cool J's in it. So of course he's not going to die because LL Cool J plays the hero. But I cannot recommend watching this enough. Christian Slater's in it. Val Kilmer's in it. Rest in peace. Clifton Collins Jr. for me forever now is I don't go anywhere without my gun. Fast forward, we're watching Star Trek. He's in it in theaters and he says something about his gun. So like to me, Clifton Collins Jr. is just all about he never goes anywhere without his gun. So if I ever meet him again, I have to be like, oh my God, Clifton Collins Jr., you don't go anywhere without your gun, do you? I love it. And he'll probably be like, whatever. So you can see my favorites are not classics. Like I said, it's not like Sunset Boulevard or Shawshank Redemption or anything that's actually good. I like schlock, but I love it. And I will defend Mindhunters all day long. I think Cold Case, here's another hot take. This TV show, which we'll do another episode about. Cold Case, to me, I prefer to Law and Order SVU. And I think that Lily Rush should get more credit than she does. So, folks, that is my thoughts. That is my feelings on movies. And I would love to hear about some of yours. What are your favorite movies? Do you agree with me on some of these? I want to hear about it. Let me know. Drop your feelings in the comments. Please make sure to go to Ma'am Podcast on YouTube and subscribe. And remember, friends, make today your bitch.